Q&A. Fan mail! Lovely. I wasn't planning to do fan mail this week. I was planning to hold off until next week, but I got 2 packages, and I'm not going to be around next Friday because I'm going to be in Denver at Fan Expo with Dart Zone. So if you're anywhere in Denver, check me out. And I wanted to get, I had gotten 2 packages that I really wanted to open up, so we're going to do it. I also got long-wanged again. If you saw last week's fan mail, you know that I got several packages from him, and it contained a total of 12 boxes of 200 half darts, which was amazing. And I reached out to him and said, hey, that's awesome, thank you so much. And he said, yeah, I sent 48. And so I went back to my P.O. box, and about 15 more packages have arrived, and with a total of 40 more boxes of half darts, which brings me up to 52, so I don't know what he meant by 48, whether he meant 48 boxes and just underestimated, or if he meant 40 packages of boxes. Some packages contained 1 box, some 2, some 3. The biggest contained 8. So there could be a lot more coming. And in fact, the next day, 7 more came, and the day after that, only 1 came. Today, there were none. So maybe it's finally settled out. And if you've done the math, I'm up to 60 boxes of darts for a total of 12,000 half darts this man just felt like sending me, which is amazing. I wish there had been more of one particular kind. There were 2 boxes of glow-in-the-dark tip-headed ones, which is really, really cool. The rest are either yellow-ribbed, red-ribbed, or red normal. And yeah, I've already shipped a bunch to a friend of mine, or a member of the crew who's stationed in Hawaii right now and is having trouble getting a hold of half darts, so I mailed him a box of each. And yeah, there could be more coming. I don't know, because if he meant 48 packages, I haven't received 48 packages yet, but I've received more than 48 boxes of darts. So I don't know. Who knows? They could be showing up forever, and they would just be trickling in for the next year. Anyway, let's answer some questions. Colin Veneman asks, I know you've said before that the AT-AT in Empire at War was dubious, but have you seen the models in the modded version Thrawn's Revenge? I have not, and I went looking on the internet, and I only could find one still picture of it. I couldn't actually see it moving, but in the picture, it looks really, really good. So hopefully they finally figured out how to make them actually look right instead of making them look like like a squatting dog with all their legs bent. Drives me nuts. Super Lava Gamer. If I were to replace the pusher mechanism in an Omnia Pro with a solenoid and kept the rest of the internals the same, would that fix the delay in semi-burst? And would I still be able to use the included battery? For the battery, it's going to depend on what solenoid you get, because different side solenoids take different amounts of voltage and current. As for solving the delay, kind of, but unless you put some sort of a control board in there, it's gonna be permanently select fire. Or rather, permanently semi-auto, because the solenoid is just pull and it pushes and you let go and it comes back. So unless you have something that's interrupting that circuit, you're not gonna have the burst mode anymore. You might! Ooh, I wonder if there's some way that you could modify the existing system to use a solenoid. I have no idea how you would do that, but it might be possible. But it is also possible that you just want semi-auto, in which case, yeah, solenoid would solve that. I think there are easier ways, and I thought of one, but I was never able to implement it, and I don't know if anyone else has bothered to try implementing it. They're very similar to what they did for the Mark III, where you simply doubled the number of times it pushes per cycle, which would hypothetically solve the problem, but I don't know if anyone ever tried it. Blender Vendor! Do you know of anyone who has made a Nerf 40 Max placeable mortar? I want to say someone has. I want to say I saw Luchathor do something like that. I'm sure somebody had a mortar, but I don't remember who. But it wouldn't be that difficult. It'd just be a matter of making a cosmetic-looking mortar out of PVC pipe and having a way to, basically put a pico booper on the end of it and boop. I wouldn't try to make one where you actually drop the 40 Max down and it hits a peg and launches out the top. You could theoretically make that work if you could get it to drop nice and straight. and if it had enough weight to set off the button when it hit the bottom, that would be cool, especially if it fired like Demolisher rockets. That would be really, really cool. I would want one of those. That may come up a little bit later. Laser Ray, have you heard of the modular half-dart Springer blaster system from Zero Works? If so, have you considered getting a set to tinker with? Well, I've heard of it now, and I looked it up, and it does look cool. I might consider it. I haven't yet, but it's a neat concept. Mr. Wazzy, what are your thoughts on steampunk aesthetic? Well, as it would happen, I have done steampunk. I've actually been to several Steam conventions. I've been to SteamCon, and there was another one that I went to, and I can't remember what it was called, Steamposium, something like that. I did a steampunk version of my medieval armor. Just added greebles and a tank and hoses and gas mask, and it actually came out looking pretty cool, I thought. James Souls. As someone who has been in the hobby for a long period of time, what would you say are some of the most important innovations in the ever-going Nerf arms race that have been over the years? Oh, there's been a lot. You said pick three. Probably half darts, sealed breeches, and brushless motors are probably the three biggest things that made the biggest change. Though you also have things like Rival in general, because that allowed for things like proton packs. So Rival, the capacity that Rival gave us has got to be up on that list somewhere. So maybe half darts, Rival, and brushless motors. Though, no, okay, I know which one has to be on the top of the list. 3D printing really has to be on the... I don't know if that's really... No, I mean, it doesn't... that would fall under the concept of the most important innovations. Yeah, easy access to 3D printing has definitely completely changed the game. Yeah. God, there's so many. It's been in a relatively short span of time that things have just gone completely different. The game we're playing today is not the game I was playing 10 years ago, which is amazing. John Villarico. What two blasters from any company would you fuse together to make one unit? Oh, probably a Stampede and a Titan. Just saying. Mine Lego Mods. What is the current status of the auxiliary? Also, are you curious about the DZ Venom? So the status of the auxiliary is it's still alive and well. It just went from being the big public thing that it had become to being a private entity again, where it's private invitation. When I go to an event, I call upon people who, hey, do you want to run in a squad with me? Keeping it relatively small because I only ever need 30 people. That's about as much as I want to try to wrangle at a big HVZ, and I have a solid core that I can generally get 30 people out of. So that's the current status. There is an irregular auxiliary, but that's also by invitation of existing members because people are the biggest problem. We're kind of cautious about who we let in anymore. We got burned a lot by letting anybody and everybody in, so it is now by invitation. And am I curious? I'm very curious. And in fact, I will supposedly get to see them in Denver next weekend. So you will get to hear my thoughts on the DZ Venom hopefully about this time next week. I might do a live stream or a short or a TikTok or something about it. The Caribou Ninja. Love that name. Do you have any Lego Mixels? Probably. I think I was sent some at some point, so they're probably in a bag, in a box, up in my Lego room, wondering why I don't love them. Jonathan Berry, NK4FZ. What music do you listen to? I listen to a huge variety of music. Everything from Rob Zombie to Tchaikovsky. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so there is a part of me that still likes disco and Michael Jackson and Madonna and Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and NSYNC, that level, but also Linkin Park and Disturbed and Eminem. I like Tchaikovsky. I like Mozart, Beethoven, Pachelbel. I like postmodern jukebox. I like a lot of electro swing. I like music you can dance to, particularly swing music. And the nice thing about knowing enough swing music, you can swing to just about anything if you really try. Most pop music you can West Coast swing to, and a lot of it you can East Coast swing to, and then of course there's an amazing amount of really good East Coast swing. And if you can't swing to it, you can probably rumba or foxtrot to it. So, yeah. Your pal Zero. Will you be going to FoamFest 2024? I will not, no. I traveled to Europe 2 years in a row. I need to take a year off to let my travel fund recover. I do plan to do a lot more travel next year. Europe may be on the list, and if possible, FoamFest might be part of that. Austin Height. Do you have any of the Lego chess sets in your collection? I do. I believe I have one of the pirate ones. Reasonably certain I have one of the pirate ones. I know I've got one of them. And I wish I had 20 of them, just for the fix. And finally, Dante Combo. How would you set up an artillery division for HVZ? See above about mortars. The short and disappointing answer is I wouldn't, for a variety of reasons. The biggest one being I find it hard to imagine an HVZ that would allow any artillery that would actually be functional. But let's talk about Nerf artillery. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've wanted to do mortars that fired demolisher rockets. I've wanted to do howitzers that fired like Titan rockets or pool noodle, shells, big things. And I have designs for them. I've just never gotten around to actually implementing them because I don't have anywhere to use them. And that's kind of the problem, is the whole real goal of artillery is area of effect. And if they're firing demolisher rockets or Titan rockets, there's really no really good way to determine the area of effect. Short of having moderators standing by with a tape measure to measure everyone that was within a certain distance of where the shell hit. I've considered doing a grid system where if the mortar round lands in your grid, you're dead. But that would require you to, paint a grid system and, again, have somebody monitoring the grid to determine, it landed in this grid, everyone in this grid, or whatever. The other option is going to be something that fires a lot of darts really far all at once. And typically anything with enough power to do that probably isn't going to be allowed by an HVZ for safety reasons, legitimately so. I mean, you're going to need some kind of massive HPA system, and I don't know of any HVZs that allow HPA. And anything that isn't firing, 30, 40, 50 darts at least 50, 60 feet isn't going to be effective. And even then, it's almost certainly not really going to be that effective. And the amount of logistics necessary, you're going to need people carrying it, you're going to need multiple units, you're going to need to set it up and tear it down, or potentially, depending on what it is. And ultimately, it's not tactically sound. It's not efficient. It's not... I love the idea. We have tried it in the past. We had like scattershot kind of blasters, and ultimately you're better off with a proton pack and just raining proton rounds down on people. That would be what would be more useful would be cruise served high capacity like machine guns, light machine guns, proton packs with people just refilling the bucket, or huge buckets, or emplaced, auto turrets that just sweep rival back and forth for a couple of minutes until they run dry. Those things might be useful, but it would need to be in really specific situations. Because it's really hard to get the zombies to stay put. Unless there's some kind of a choke point that you can just keep raining shells down on repeatedly, they're just going to move away, and you're going to rotate it, and they're going to move away. There's things that make artillery effective, and everything about HVZ kind of nullifies that in a lot of ways. But if you did have like a last stand where you knew this is where the last stand will be, this is where the zombies are going to be coming from, I can think of some ways where you could really choke point a bottleneck, and if you could do indirect fire in on top of it from a long range, and you could get really accurate and really reliable, then that could actually be somewhat effective of just if you could keep a sustained fire on that location to keep the zombies from being able to get through. But in general, stunned zombies are just going to walk through and respawn somewhere else. It would be really difficult to make it effective enough to be worth the effort, is the problem. I love the idea. Like I said, Nerf artillery has been on my list for a long time and figuring out ways to implement it. HVZ isn't someplace I would ever try. Again, for all the reasons about HVZ, the fact that you're rarely in one place for very long. If you are, the logistics just isn't there to really make artillery effective. I think, like I said, high capacity full auto emplacements would be something that would be much more useful if you could implement it. So, yeah, but I would love to hear what ideas you have, especially for things like mortars. Because that's an area where indirect fire has some advantages, especially if you can get it constant. Just keep raining it in so that they can never get close. I would love to hear what people have to say about that. Alright. Take that! No! I hit the mic. Alright, I have 2 Pekage, one coming to me from a whole nother country, and the other coming from nearby. I'm gonna open this one first, because I have no idea what's in it. This one is coming to me from Love Held, is what it says. A note! Hello, Captain. I hope this package finds you in good spirits. I'm typing this note because my handwriting is atrocious. Yeah, my time. I'm Captain Shotgun, a 16-year-old modder, and I'm trying to start my own YouTube channel. Your content has been a source of inspiration for over a year now. I have been eager to send you this care package for some time. I just now finished getting everything put together. Inside, you'll discover a modded hammer shot. Ooh. Worker metal kit, very nice, alongside and its original components. I originally planned to paint the blaster and add it to my collection, but something is not working internally and I couldn't figure it out, so I thought if fitting to pass it on to you. Oh, he sent me a broken hammer shot. Lovely. Something to diagnose. I'm sure you won't mind another hammer shot in your collection. Absolutely not. Also included is a modded N-Series Ward. Haven't seen, well, I bought some N-Series darts today. Possibly the first of its kind. A blaster that I found thrifting with no longer works. Thought you might want the parts. I always have use for parts. More surprises awaiting in the box, but I'll keep this note brief. Enjoy, your friend, aka Captain Shotgun. Please don't read this on camera. Yeah, right. Well, let's see what we've got in here. Aha! We have a sharpshooter. I assume this is the one that isn't working? Maybe? Question mark? Some darts. Ooh! Some vintage Legos. Vintage Lego minis. Very cool, very cool. Some mini spacemen. Old school spacemen. Let's see. Oh, he mentioned these in a live stream, I think. Some zombie strike arrows. These are getting harder and harder to get a hold of. They kind of quit making them. I was fortunate enough to acquire a whole bunch when Toys R Us went out of business, and they were like $5 a box. And so I bought them all. 3 of them. Nice. Excellent. I shall add them to the collection. There we've got... Here's the hammer shot. Oh, it's the red one. Very cool. Yeah, yeah. Yep, that needs some work. I like that cylinder, though. Original part, so worst case scenario, I just put it back to its original. I packed it with darts. Yeah! Yeah, interesting. So this is normally a 2-barrel AR rare prime. Looks like he has singled it and brassed it. Oh. Is this still meant to fire the original darts? That's awful loose for... I mean, it'll fire elites, but interesting. I have some of those darts now. It doesn't look like he sent me any. Fascinating. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else hidden in the box? Doesn't look like it. Awesome, awesome stuff all around. So a couple of either scrap for parts, or, I mean, if nothing else, I can definitely put that worker kit in another blaster. That's led a somewhat rough life. Can that thing even be opened? Did you glue it together? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Alright, next package from Chris McClure. I'm in. Well, I'm through the first layer anyway. Lord have mercy. One note! I hope you enjoyed the movie. Dramatic pause. Wait, train! Hello? Say hello to Swamp Cat. From Grumpy Old Man, Chris McClure. I will do so. Swamp Cat. Chris McClure says hello. And we have... Ooh. Ultramarines, a Warhammer 40k movie. Special edition collector's set. Didn't know they ever made any Warhammer 40k movies. What happened on Algol? Very cool. Oh, that's going to make a gorgeous addition to the Black Library, and I will absolutely enjoy it. I will almost certainly watch it tonight. I have pizza and popcorn and Sprecher. I will make an event of it. Awesome. Thank you so much. If you would like to have a question answered, ask it in the comments of this video. That's where I draw my questions from, the previous Q&A. If you want to mail me something because you're just feeling awesome like that, mailing address is down in the description. I expect nothing and appreciate everything. You people are awesome. Thank you for watching.